Hi, scholars. So we're going to continue our Native Americans unit, moving on to lesson 3. So before we get into our story, I just want to review our chart we introduced on our last lesson. So in our last lesson, we learned about the specific Lakota Sioux tribe. And let's go through each category about the environment they lived in, the type of clothing they wore, the food that they ate, and their type of shelter. So we know that the Lakota Sioux lived in the Great Plains. So that was the map that we had, and that green area that was shaded in the middle of the United States was considered the Great Plains. And it was a large flat land just covered in grass, no hills or mountains, just flat land. So the type of clothing they wore was made from buffalo skin or the buffalo fur. So we know the buffalo is very important to the Lakota Sioux. They used every part of the buffalo specifically for their clothing, for dresses, pants, any type of shirts that they wore, and also for their moccasins or on their feet. And so they're moving into their food. Like I just stated, the buffalo was very important. So that was their main source of food. Wherever the buffalo traveled, that's where the Lakota Sioux traveled. And then lastly, their shelter, the type of homes they lived in were teepees. And a teepee is shaped like a triangle. You will have sticks that you gather at the top and usually drape a cloth around it. And again, the Lakota Sioux lived in teepees because it was very easy to put up and put away since they had to travel and move across the Great Plains to follow the buffalo. So as we continue to learn about the other two Native American tribes, we'll fill in this chart to help us remember how they lived, where they lived, the food they ate, and the types of clothing that they wore. So today we're going to read a story called Where's Winona? And it's about a little Lakota Sioux girl named Mypia. And I want you to listen to the story carefully to find out what type of clothes her family wore and what type of house they lived in. This is Mypia, a Lakota Sioux girl. Why do you think she looks so happy? Every year, Mypia looks forward to moving with her family to their summer camp. After several days of traveling from their winter camp, they have finally arrived at Mypia's favorite place. They have moved here to hunt buffalo. While the men hunt for buffalo, Mypia and her family will live in this special spot with other Lakota Sioux families until the days shorten, signaling fall. This is Mypia's family. Her mother, her father, her grandmother, her little sister Tashna, and her baby brother. Shifin, do you see anything in this picture that is made from buffalo skins? Yes, their clothes and moccasins are made from buffalo skins. And their teepees or houses are made from the buffalo too. Think how easy it would be to carry your house with you if you lived in a teepee. Teepees are easily taken apart and put back together again. Look closely at this picture. Do you see the two poles near the horse's head? A frame is connected to the poles behind the horse, forming a travoy, a type of sled used to pull the family's teepee and other belongings. Mypia's mother is the one who has always packed and unpacked the teepee and belongings. Before leaving the winter camp, Mypia's mother piled their clothing, blankets, and rugs on the backs of horses. Many things were loaded onto the travoy. Even grandmother and Tashna rode on the travoy. She then traveled in a cradleboard on mother's back. Mypia packed her toys in a parfleche, or a small bag made of buffalo hide. She took special care with her doll, Winona, wrapping her up in a little fur blanket before putting her into the parfleche. Mother made Winona for Mypia. Mother always helped Mypia sew clothes and little beaded moccasins for the doll. Mypia loves Winona very much. The Lakota Sioux are busy setting up their new summer camp. Their teepees form a circle with all the doorways facing in the same direction, east, away from the strong winds that blow across the plains from the west. They are set up in order of the family's importance. Since the chief is the person in charge of the tribe, his teepee is the most important. My Pia's father is a respected hunter and warrior or fighter, so his family's teepee is placed near the chief's. My Pia's family will raise its teepee beside some cottonwood trees. Mother leans Sheathan's cradle board against a tree trunk in the shade. He's fast asleep. My Pia usually has to watch over little Tashna, but today grandmother will look after her. She would take her over to visit my Pia's aunt because her teepee has been raised already. My Pia is glad to be given a break. Tashna is always getting into mischief. Mother starts raising the teepee's frame with its thin, long wooden poles. To build the teepee, Mother ties 3 poles together. Using a long rope, she pulls them upright to form the shape of a triangle. This makes a strong base. Then she adds more poles to the frame, leaning them against the notch formed by the 3 poles at the top. The teepee cover is attached to the last pole. Lifting that pole up at the back of the teepee, Mother leans it onto the other poles. Then my Pia helps her pull the cover over the poles, making the walls of the teepee. They join the 2 sides of the cover with pegs, leaving an opening for the doorway under the last peg. During the hot summer months, they will roll the teepee cover up from the bottom to let air in. The smoke hole at the top of the teepee can be opened and closed too, allowing smoke to escape or air to flow in. At last, the teepee is completed. My Pia thinks about her own toy teepee. She wants to set it up for her doll, Winona. My Pia took the toy teepee apart before packing it up and will put it together again just as Mother did for the family's teepee. By copying her mother in play, my Pia learns how to do things she would have to do when she is a grown-up. My Tia finds the parfleche in which she packed her toys, laying open on the ground. She reaches inside and pulls out the soft deerskin teepee cover and little wooden poles. Winona's little fur blanket is there too, but Winona is not inside the blanket. My Pia pulls everything out of the bag. No Winona. Worried, my Pia searches through her other bags, but her doll is not inside any of them. Did Winona fall out of the bag while the family was traveling here? Is the little dog lost in the tall grass that covers the plains? So much grass, such a long trip. If Winona fell out along the way, how would my Pia find her? My Pia's father finds her searching for Winona in the long grass. Have you seen my doll? My Pia asks him. No, he answers. I found my parfleche open. Maybe Winona fell out along the way. Don't worry, Father says. I was the one who took all the parfleche off the horse when we got here. None of them were open. Your doll could not have fallen out along the way. My Pia joins her mother, who had been making a fire to prepare for cooking. Father tightens his bow as Sheathan continues to sleep. Mother, have you seen Winona? Asked my Pia. No, said Mother. I haven't seen your doll. Just then, Sheathan wakes up and starts to cry. Of all the family, my Pia is the best at getting Sheathan to stop crying. She goes over to the tree, makes a silly face, and sticks out her tongue. Sheathan stops crying. He laughs and laughs. And that's when my PA sees them. 2 little beaded moccasins poking up down from the cradle board. She tugs hard. Out comes the legs, then the dress, then the arms and head of Winona. My PA gives Winona a big hug. My PA asks, how do you get in there, silly girl? At that moment, Tashna toddles over from Auntie's teepee, with grandmother trying her best to keep up. Tashna sees the doll. Nona, she exclaims, and pulls Winona out of my Pia's hand and sticks the doll back inside Sheathan's cradle board. Now I know who did it, said my Pia. It was little sister. You are right, my Pia, says Mother. I suppose tomorrow I have to make Tashna her own doll.